We'll now call this meeting of Jacksonville City Council to order. I want to welcome everyone who's come out tonight. We have a house full of folks, and a lot of folks will be watching on G10 television. To begin the meeting tonight, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Jerome Willingham, followed by the invocation by our city manager. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many beauties that you give us and the opportunity to be here together as a community. Lord, we ask for understanding for everyone in the room tonight so that voices are heard and that people are able to listen and hear what's actually being said. Lord, we ask for wisdom and guidance to the mayor and the council as they make decisions that will shape today and the future of our community. Lord, we ask for the many blessings that you give us today to grow inside of our hearts so that as we move forward, we are better as individuals, better as people, better as a city, Lord. We ask for special blessing for the youth of Jacksonville, for the youth of Onslow County. Lord, there's so many challenges today that face our kids, and so we just ask for that ability to think through opportunities and challenges that they may see in the barriers, and we ask for their ability to leapfrog all those challenges, to face them head on, and to come out successful, Lord, because we're all one family that just focuses on to lead the community into a better place. Lord, we're grateful for the time together. We're grateful for this form of government and the ability to be together in this room. And we're thankful for the blessing that we can be here today, Lord. Thank you so much for your love and for your mercy. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Council, you've been provided with the agenda for the proposed agenda for tonight's meeting. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Go ahead.
Mr.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hear none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, we're going to go to our first section of public comment this evening. I know a lot of folks are here on specific issues on the agenda, and you signed up on this sheet here. We're going to have separate public hearings for those matters. So I do have, is there anyone here that signed up for public comment that's not related to these annexation? And okay, Ms. Spicer, if you would come to this podium over here.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Council. I'm going to start off with a scripture because the city manager did make a prayer, made a reference. Psalm 51:10 says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." Jacksonville proudly promotes unity throughout phrases such as one city, our city, my city. These are powerful words. However, they must be supported by visibly, intentionally, historically, and publicly celebrated. If not, it creates a gap between the message and the lived one experiences of many African Americans, residents right here in Jacksonville. African Americans here in Jacksonville have contributed significantly to Jacksonville culture, economic, military, and civic life. Our stories, our leadership, our businesses, our neighborhoods, our service to this nation are woven into the fabric of this city. Yet, these contributions are often missing from the city branding and public-facing identity. Now, what are we going to do? How we make this wrong right? I'm glad you asked. That's what my pastor would say. I'm glad you asked. See, it's not about blaming anyone. Not blaming anyone. It's about taking on your responsibility. It's about aligning up our public identity with our true identity. It's about ensuring that every resident feels seen, valued, and included. Jacksonville is stronger when we all are people that are visible. Unity slogan. I'd like to see more people like us. We've never had a person like us for a mayor. We never had a person like us for a pro temp mayor. Come on now. We're Christians, we're believers. I hear you praying in the Lord. I know I'm gonna watch my time, but you know how to hold it. But we have an opportunity now to get it right. I had a private conversation with the city manager. He's my friend. And I asked him, I know there was a plaque that was given with, I think it was called Racial Equity Proclamation. I was here when that was given. Dr. Washington, I think you part of initiated that. But I haven't asked any.
You need to sum it up. Your time is gone.
I'm sorry, thank you so much, Mayor. But what I'm saying is I've asked for a larger picture of that proclamation, and we haven't seen it, but I know you're working. But thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. God bless you real well.
All right. Melanie Marcette, are you still, is Melanie still here? Oh, there you are.
Hello, everyone, council, mayor. Melanie Marzette, 403 Alta Vista Loop. First of all, I'd like to shout out the Recreation Department for the African American read-in that was on, I believe, this past last Sunday, the second Sunday. They did a great job, and the media crew that was there to film it, they always do a great job. They've been with it for several years now, so I appreciate their effort. I would like to say, you know, the read-in is once a year. This was the 22nd. It would have been nice to have more council there, the mayor, city manager. When we used to have it at the senior, now adult center, you would have 3 or 4, at least from council, and the mayor would come out every year. I think it's important, as a veteran, I think it's just as important when you go to the veteran ceremonies to come to that read-in. And I understand you can't make it to everyone. However, if you've never gone to one, I hope that you would put it on your calendar for next year. They did a great job, and it's really the only time that you are able, in all these events that the city holds, to really meet and have a more intimate conversation with your constituents, with the participants that see the city calendar. They can put a face to the calendar that they see. You had a bunch of teenagers there, and to personally acknowledge the staff. It is great to send out an email thanking everyone for a job well done. But one of the things that I always admired about Mr. Wharton as a council member is that he always made it a point to know your name, where you work, come out to some of these events, come up to you, shake your hand, ask you how you were doing, and tell you that you're doing a good job. So it matters. So just remember that for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else sign up the sheet for public comment other than for the issues to follow? All right, with that, we're going to move on to adoption of the minutes and the consent items. The minutes are from the January 5th, 2026 special workshop meeting.
Move approval of the minutes and consent items.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, we're going down to item number 4 on the agenda. And this is a satellite annexation for Stallion Crossing. It's a 6.668 acre plus or minus 6.88 acres. And Mr. Massey, you're going to be presenting that item.
Mayor, before Mr. Massey starts, I just wanted to say the microphone volume is a little low right now, so we're having media try and turn up the volume just so everybody can hear.
All right.
But they're working on it right now, so just think you should be able to hear Mr. Massey as he gets going.
Mayor and council, the city has received a request for a satellite voluntary annexation on behalf of Bobby R. Morton. The request was submitted by Tidewater and Associates with a petition for voluntary annexation of 2 tracts of land totaling 6.68 acres that's outside the current city boundaries. What I want to do is go over the process that we've been through to this point. First of all, voluntary satellite annexations are authorized by the state law. The property owners submitted a request for voluntary annexation. They submitted the petition. Once the city clerk received that, she investigated the annexation for sufficiency in compliance with the state law and under the authority that council gave the city clerk to do this investigation. Once the clerk certified that this complied with all the requirements of state law, the council was presented the petition, and the council was required to basically accept the petition and schedule a public hearing. And this was accomplished on February 5th. We now are at the point where the council will conduct a public hearing, and after the public hearing and all the input received, the council will have to make a decision on approval of the annexation if it's found in the best interest of the city of Jacksonville. The financial analysis on this annexation shows that it would result in a positive cash flow over a 5-year period of $1,707,000. Now, this site is proposed to be a commercial site for 26 commercial businesses would be located or would operate from. It's located at the intersection of Maplehurst, Old Maplehurst Road and Burgaw Highway. And that this annexing this subdivision or this parcel, these parcels, would contribute to the economic development and growth of the city, would provide additional housing, which, as the council learned in the DFI study that was done, that there is a shortage of housing in the city and Jacksonville, in the city of Jacksonville and in Onslow County. It would also enable this area to receive services from the city, where we would provide public safety services, and it would be built in an environmentally friendly manner, utilizing public water and public sewer, and it would be under the stormwater management of the city of Jacksonville. For these reasons, the staff recommends the council adopt the annexation ordinance as presented.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Massey at this time? Do you have a representative for the applicant want to make any statement?
Jason Houston, 306 New Bridge Street. I'm representing the applicant tonight. We're asking for this area to be annexed into the city. The reason for the annexation is we would like to have city sewer. As this area is tributary to the Southwest Regional Lift Station, that is the city sewer, we have to come and request that from you. If you deny it, The project still moves forward. We have county zoning in place to be able to develop, and we would then therefore be able to use the agreement that you have with Onwassa for this area to provide sewer to it. So the question just is whether or not you want to annex it and have it in the city.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Houston? So at this time, we're going to go ahead and recess the regular meeting and open up a public hearing on this agenda item. Is there anyone present wishes to speak to this annexation? All right. Seeing no one, we close the public hearing, and Counselor, you're being asked to consider the annexation ordinance.
Mayor Phillips, I make a motion to recommend that the council adopt the annexation ordinance as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Going to number 5.
Good evening. So following the annexation of the property, we do have to establish city zoning. The property, again, is located at the intersection of Burgall Highway and Old Maplehurst Road, and it is about 6.7 acres total. The request for zoning came from Tidewater and Associates on behalf of Bobby Morton, and they have requested a zoning designation of conditional corridor commercial. The property is currently zoned under Onslow County as highway business conditional. We did post notice on the site. We also mailed notice to abutting property owners in accordance with the general statute. We also sent certified mail notice to New River and Camp Lejeune as required by the general statute because the properties are within 5 miles of the bases. The properties are also located within our flight path overlay district. So certain uses under that flight path overlay do require special use permit, and there are some height restrictions under that designation. The planning board reviewed the request at the regular meeting on February 9th. They did recommend approval of the request. Following that discussion, we met with the applicant and they amended their application to the conditional corridor commercial designation. They've also included a condition that there will be a 10-foot vegetative buffer along the southern property line. We feel that that addresses the planning board's comments, and so the staff is recommending approval of the rezoning. We are asking, if approved, that council include in the adoption of the ordinance that the land use plan be amended. Because this area is outside of our jurisdiction currently, we'll have to amend the land use plan to adopt a land use designation for the property. So we're requesting your consideration and approval of the zoning map amendment by accepting the items found in findings of fact A through J in the affirmative, and I can answer any questions that you have at this time.
Okay. Any questions for Jennifer? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's a required public hearing in this matter, so we're going to recess the regular council meeting, open up public hearing again. Let me preface this because we got several public hearings, so please listen carefully to this instructions that I'm going to read. You're asked to come to the lectern and to clearly state your name and address so that the clerk can properly enter it into the record. Each speaker will be allowed only one opportunity to speak, so please organize your thoughts before coming to the podium. We have allotted a maximum time per speaker of no more than 5 minutes, and we request that groups designate a spokesperson to address the group's concerns. In the interest of time, we ask that if another speaker has already raised a point or addressed your concern, that it not be repeated. So with that, does anyone wish to speak to this matter? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Councilor, you've been asked to consider the zoning map amendment.
Mayor, I move that we approve the zoning map amendment as stated.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Moving on to number 6. This is another map amendment. This is for a zoning map amendment for the corner of Piney Green Road and Carver Drive. It's a rezoning of 3 parcels from residential single-family to corridor commercial. And Ryan, you will present this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Hold on just a minute, Ryan.
We cannot hear you back here, sir. Always back here, it's a bunch of mumbling. We cannot make it out.
Okay. Let's see if we can fix the sound on it.
They have to use their outdoor voice.
How about now? Okay, we'll move the microphone a little bit closer. I didn't want to yell, though. All right, Ryan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I moved my mic, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me as well. So this next request is a City of Jacksonville staff-initiated request to rezone 3 parcels of land at the corner of Piney Green Road and Carver Drive. This is a proposal to rezone the property from residential single-family 20 to corridor commercial. This started based on discussions with the county about some property they own, which is the transfer station, for some possible future development. That led staff to have conversations with the 2 adjoining property owners based on the development pattern of the area and looking at the land use plan and also the zoning of the area. Because of the general statutes, we do have signed applications from all 3 property owners. Since this is a staff-initiated request, they are all in support of the change. Before you is the aerial photograph of the site. As you can see, Piney Green to the right. NC 24 is just off the bottom of the screen, so the Food Lion Shopping Center is just off to the south. So we have existing and proposed zoning before you. The green area is the residential single-family 20 zone that the property currently has. And as you see here, the area to the right shows the proposed corridor commercial. And you can see that the property adjoining this and across the street and also a little bit further to the south where the shopping center is also zoned the same way with corridor commercial. The City of Jacksonville's CAMA land use plan identifies this area as mixed use, so the land use plan is supportive of this proposed change, so we will not have to amend the CAMA land use plan should City Council approve this rezoning request. As Jennifer mentioned before, we have sent the letters out, posted the signs, and also the newspaper advertisements in order to provide that statutory requirements to let the public know of the intended public hearing and proposed rezoning. Last week at the Planning Board, they did recommend approval of this amendment, as is staff. We believe that the proposal is reasonable, and as you'll find in the standards and the findings of fact A through J, you'll find in the affirmative. I'll be happy to answer any questions that the mayor and council may have at this time.
Council, any questions of Ryan? Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll recess the regular meeting and open up the public hearing on this agenda item. Anyone present wishes to speak to this? Hearing no one, we'll close the public hearing, and council will be being asked to consider that request.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we grant the rezoning upon finding of facts that is reasonable. It meets the A to J criteria being found in the affirmative, and it advances the public interest.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item number 6, this is a public hearing for a satellite annexation on Blue Creek Road of the 169, I'm 7, excuse me. I can't count. Satellite annexation of Blue Creek Road, 169.92 acres, plus or minus, and Mr. Massey is going to present this item.
Mayor and council, on behalf of the property owners, Tidewater and Associates has submitted a petition for the voluntary satellite annexation of 2 tracts totaling 169 acres. Property is located on Blue Creek School Road at 1420. The developer proposes to build 34 commercial businesses.
It's not Blue Creek School Road, it's Blue Creek Road.
I'm sorry, Blue Creek Road. Blue Creek Road. And 494 single-family homes with an average value of $357,000. The cost, the financial analysis shows a positive cash flow over a 5-year review period of $2,256,000. The staff recommends that council adopt the annexation ordinance because this annexation will contribute to the economic development growth of the city, will in fact add additional housing, will allow these residents in this area to receive city public safety services, water and sewer services, and include the stormwater management of the site. Again, staff recommends the council adopt the annexation ordinance as presented.
Council, any questions of Mr. Massey?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Massey. As far as the sewer, connecting the sewer with those homes, if it wasn't annexed in the city, then they would have septic systems. Is that correct?
A septic system or a small package plant.
And really, really, it's more environmentally friendly to use sewer than it is septic systems, is it not?
That's correct. You know, we have a high groundwater levels at many times of the year, and that affects the effectiveness of septic systems. And what that does is also then ends up with higher bacteria counts in our surface water bodies.
And also with the fire department, I believe Southwest is a 6 and Jacksonville is a 1. That'll reduce the
insurance calculations for
response
the
time.
property insured, for fire insurance. That's correct. And we have agreements with Southwest. We back each other up. We have mutual aid agreements. And as we increase some of the areas that are a little further away from our fire stations, we increase our agreements with our volunteer fire stations to provide coverage along with the city providing coverage.
And unlike other subdivisions in the county where the roads fail, the city would maintain those roads once they're built, right?
That's right. The infrastructure in this subdivision would be inspected during the construction by the city, and it would have to meet the city standards before it was accepted. And then once accepted, the city would be responsible for maintaining the roads and the public utilities in the subdivision.
Mr. Massey, would you please, just for information purposes for the folks that are here tonight, would you explain the difference between voluntary and involuntary annexation?
Yes. The laws reference involuntary annexation are very restrictive, and the city is limited to, it's very specific as far as the measures that the city must take. If the city intends to voluntarily and involuntarily annex an area, the people that own property in that area must agree to it. There has to be a referendum, and the referendum has to be voted on by the landowners before we could involuntarily annex property.
So this annexation of this 169.92 plus or minus acres is solely the only area that's being annexed, correct?
That's correct. We only respond to requests from property owners, and that's what we're doing right now. If property owners have the right to develop their property in the manner that they would like to see it developed, and if it complies with the laws that apply for the development, then they can do that.
And that's the same for the taxes, right? That would just be just for that neighborhood, not surrounding, correct?
That's correct. Everybody in the county pays county taxes.
Right.
But individual or people that live within municipal boundaries pay, in addition to their county tax, they pay a city tax. But that tax covers the additional services. For example, our response time for police and our fire is significantly different than you find in unincorporated areas.
And trash recycling and yard waste as well, right?
That's correct. We provide a more extensive array of sanitation services, whereas in the county, those services have to be arranged by each individual, or if they utilize county facilities, the individuals have to transport their debris to the county facility.
As far as traffic, the metropolitan planning for traffic,
Yes.
so that helps the city determine what the priorities are if the traffic volume gets too high. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, yes, there is a metropolitan planning organization, and the role of that planning organization is to identify improvements that need to make the road infrastructure. It's intended to, look on a regional basis, and so that organization looks at the entire county. In addition, DOT on its own manages the roads that are DOT's responsibility. They take annual or periodic traffic counts, and they make safety improvements to the roads that's within their funding limitations. But then if there's a larger project needed that needs more funding from the state, that's a project that would be passed to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and that would be a project that would be forwarded for consideration for state funding. There are a number of things, for example, out there for improvement. One is Highway 24 out to Pony Farm Road to make it safer. That's a project that's on the state funding list. It's still a number of years in the future, but that's an example. And there's an interchange plan for intersection of 53, 24, and 258, which will improve the safety and the efficiency of that intersection. That's another project that was identified by the MPO and competed successfully for state funding, and that will be improved. The one thing, though, that the state is not ahead of traffic. In other words, the funding is such that they have to wait for the traffic to be there before they can invest money on the improvements. And so it's delayed in the catching up. And so, but that's the way the state funding system works.
That's how it's always been with DOT, Mr. Massey. You get on the list when it's a need, not a want. I have a question for you. I know traffic impact and analysis is part of these processes. We don't have that information now because it's not in this part of the process. When does that happen?
Well, it will start soon, but one of the problems with the traffic impact analysis is when we actually get ready to approve plans, it's got to be current. So the timing of the traffic impact analysis will depend on the developer's schedule on when they plan to do certain things. And so if they want a decision on approval of the actual construction plans at a certain date, then they have to back off and make sure they've got the traffic impact analysis complete when they seek approval.
But it will be completed before construction.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And it could include four-way stops or red lights or widening lanes or.
Well, it will look at the impact that this development will have on the roads, the major roads that it connects to. And many times you see this, and when a subdivision goes in, if it's determined that for safety, to ensure safety, you need a turning lane, both in off the main highway or want a right turn lane or a left turn lane, TIA will identify that, and that'll be part of the discussions during the approval process. And when it comes to, you know, I know I've seen some comments about the four-way intersection just down the street. Well, that's something that DOT's evaluating all the time, you know, and when it gets to a point where the traffic volume is such that you need a different traffic management solution, then DOT, the district, will in fact start working on that. And we work with them, with the MPO, as well as the city staff, to basically highlight areas that we have concerns about to try and improve the traffic safety.
So there's an opportunity here to look at the county helping and the city helping if the traffic volume was too great.
That's right. The county is part of the MPO, and so they are members, and they can vote along with our city members to the planning organization to raise priority for particular projects.
But the county doesn't fix roads on their own, is that correct?
No, they do not. They rely on the Department of Transportation. Now, roads outside of subdivisions, you know, the Department of Transportation is going to manage on their own. When subdivisions that are not in the city have problems with their subdivision roads, that's DOT, and the county doesn't play a role in that. So the citizens really have to report that to DOT, whereas if you're in the city.
In this neighborhood, the city would take care of those roads, correct?
That's right. They just call the city. If they have a trash problem, they call the city. If they got a water problem, they'll call the city. If they have a problem with their road, call the city.
Any other questions? Mr. Massey, anything you need to add? Was there anything to add to that?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. There's a required public hearing in this matter. And again, I read you the rules earlier, and we're going to go by those. So at this time, I will recess the regular council meeting, open up the public hearing. I know there's a lot of you here for, a lot of you here not for. I mentioned something about selecting someone who could be your spokesperson. I don't know if you have someone that wants to be the spokesperson for the whole group, or if somebody could add something to whatever the spokesperson may have left out, then you take that opportunity to speak on that. So with that said, do we have any spokespersons? Mr. Representative Shepherd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff, and those that are here tonight. I just want to state that I got emails about this and complaints from people about this situation. In 2011, I went to Raleigh. We had a bill that was passed because people were concerned about annexation, involuntary annexation. With that being said and done, a bill was passed. It was 835, and that bill basically said that people that lived in those areas had a right to an opinion if they wanted to be annexed or not. It's actually 60% of those residents have to say they want to be annexed or not annexed. With satellite annexation, it's something that sort of circumvents that law. I didn't know it worked like this, or probably it would have been changed. Because when you do satellite annexation, then most of these people that don't they live in that area, but they don't own that 20 or 300 some acres. So you're telling that man that owns 300 and some acres, or lady, or whoever it may be, that you can do this, we will satellite annex it, but they have no opinion on it. And they live in the area. They live on Blue Creek Road. Most of these people live around Blue Creek Road, Pony Farm Road. I know them, we're neighbors. With that being said and done, and we put that into place so that they would have an opinion and have an opportunity to voice their complaints. As far as DOT is concerned, I'm going to ask for a study, a road count, see if I can get one sooner than later about Blue Creek Road. I travel Blue Creek Road many times in the morning to go out and eat breakfast with friends. It's inundated with traffic, and when school's in, the school buses are there. It's backed up from 258 already to the four-way stop. And I'm a transportation chair. I've been one for several years in Raleigh, and I can tell you there's not any extra funds right now for Blue Creek Road. We're behind because we don't have enough road tax money coming in and so forth. We're looking for better ways and more ways to find more money. But right now, we don't have extra money. And DOT does take care of all the county roads. North Carolina has more public roads than any other state than Texas. And it takes a lot of money to take care of those roads. We are going to update 24 and the bypass there with that's going to happen there. But it's behind schedule also. With all that being said and done, if you live on Blue Creek Road, then the city will not take care of that. They'll take care of the subdivision, but they won't do anything on Blue Creek Road, as Ron Massey said. But it's up to DOT to do that. I can tell you there's not funds available to upgrade Blue Creek Road at this point in time. With that being said and done, I think these people that live in that area, and if you don't mind, how many are here are you for annexation in this area? If you're for it, say so. If you're not, raise your hand. They live, these are my neighbors, they live in the southwest area. They live there because they didn't want to be in the city. With that being said and done, you know, with that being said and done, I noticed Mr. Massey several times, and I respect him a lot, but we disagree on this. He made the comment that it's beneficial for the city. But is it beneficial for the residents that live in that area to move 300 and some homes in that area and then have all the traffic and all the safety problems at this time? It may be at a later date. But it's not just about being beneficial for the city. It's about what's right for the citizens that live in that area also. Amen. And I know that Walmart, Lowe's was satellite annexed. I know that the low-income housing apartments on Blue Creek School Road was satellite annexed. Some people didn't even know that was happening. I would have not known this had I not got a letter and a text from people in that area. They said, Phil, can you help us? And I said, well, I'll go and speak on your behalf because I believe that people that live in that area, even though they don't own that 329 acres, it's going to affect them one way or another, positive or negative. They will not benefit from it. And the road cannot handle the traffic, I can just tell you that. With that being said and done, I'm going to look at getting a traffic report to see if I can come up with something sooner than later on this issue. The Rotary, which I've been a member of, has a four-way test. Two of those items in the four-way test is it beneficial to all concerned, and is it fair to everyone concerned? I ask you to ask that question. Is this fair to everyone concerned, not just the property owner that's asking to be annexed, but is it fair to all those people that are neighbors in that community that already live there? And
pay tax.
I appreciate your time. And I'm not trying to beat anybody up. I'm just giving you the plain facts. There's not a lot of funding left from transportation right now. We're trying to find ways to create more funding because we want to have better roads and highways. A lot of our projects are behind already. The intersection is behind that Mr. Massey talked about. But until we get more funding, I don't think now is the time to allow that many houses to be built on Blue Creek Road. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. But just think about that. Is it fair and beneficial to everybody? Thank you.
All right. Does anybody need to add something he didn't cover? Yes. Step up, please. State your, how about coming over to this podium over here, please? I think that's the one that's mic'd up. If you give your name and address to the clerk.
My name is Tim Parker. I live right there off Blue Creek Road. I travel Blue Creek Road every day, sometimes more than one. Traffic is terrible already. The dump trucks coming from the city, the dump trucks coming from the county, beat the roads up, and so that's already been pretty much known. But, you know, sometimes as a human being, you do the right thing. You don't do it because it's what you want. It's the right thing to do, not approve this particular annexation. It's bad for everybody out here. You don't live there, you don't. None of you people live there to see how it is out there. These residents do not need to put up with this. Now, the builder, the buyer, paid millions of dollars for this property, and now they want you to bail them out. They want you to give them 500 houses on one side of this highway, and then another 17 acres on that corner. This is not right for us. It's terrible. It is very terrible. And if not only that, did not the planning board vote no for you guys? Is that not what you should do too? You should vote no. Absolutely, you should vote no. Is there anything else I want to say down here? Yes. As far as sewer and septic tank works just as good as sewer. Now, you guys, back in the day, bought 7,000 acres out there that you spray on every day. We know it. We see it. We smell it. We live by it. You don't live by it. So you're going to put 500 homes on this piece of property, and you're going to put it out there, and then you're going to put it out there on 53. How long before you need more land to spray on? That's what you're doing. You're doing all this stuff all the time, and you're not thinking about us. So now, once again, I say the right thing to do is vote no. Do not approve this. I have some other things in my mind, but I won't say them exactly because you probably wouldn't like it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Him, then you.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing people to be here tonight for this public hearing to voice their support or lack of support. I'm Tommy Pollard. I served 6 years on the Board of Transportation, so I know a little bit about highways. And I served as a senator for also County, so I know a little bit about legislation as well. But what I really know about is that the Pollard family has owned property on Blue Creek Road for 4 generations, 100 years. Now, I haven't bought it here recently. Approving this project would actually benefit me. It really would. I've got 100 acres, not 100 acres, but 100 lots approved for a housing development that I would like to have sewer for. But I'm going to tell you that I would forego that because this project is just going to make Blue Creek Road, a 1.25 mile road, into a subdivision highway. That's what it's going to make it. If you've ever traveled out there, and I have all my life, I spent my last 2 years in high school living on that road. Blue Creek Road is already overtaxed. There's already about 500 homes that's kind of on the drawing board. There's already an apartment complex that's been built. But I can tell you right now, if this is approved, within 3 or 4 years, there'll be another 500 houses out there. DOT is not going to 4-lane Blue Creek Road. I'm telling you that right now. You'll be actually jeopardizing the citizens of this community. Not only those who live on Blue Creek Road, but all of those who transfer, who actually travel Blue Creek to reach other areas of the county. This is a terrible project. It benefits a few, and it causes issues for a whole lot of people. So I would encourage you not to pass this. It is not a humane thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. It's going to create chaos. It's going to absolutely jeopardize people's lives. Orderly growth, I am all for it. I've been for it all my life. And I have a subdivision on Blue Creek Road. I built a sewer plant out there 40 years ago. The county at that time said, if you'll build it, Richard Kuntz, who was a sanitarian, said, if you'll build it, the county will buy it. Well, I've never had a check in the mail yet. But I have serviced a few homes out there, and there is room for orderly growth. This is going to absolutely create a nightmare and a safety hazard, and it's going to be a great imposition of all these people out here and many more who are not here tonight. Not only those who live on Blue Creek Road, Mr. Mayor, all of those who have to transverse that to get to their property out there. This is a very bad idea, and I encourage you not to impose this kind of a tragedy on a section of the county. Thank you very much for letting me speak.
My name is Manfred Daughtry. Y'all guys know me by Mandy. I'm very happy to say I've been calling Jacksonville my home for 74 years. And I'd like to say that some things didn't really come out with staff. I think they tried to sort of fudge on a few items. Nothing has been mentioned about high density, and that's 25 homes per acre, families per acre with townhouses and apartments. And also, they didn't mention the four-way stop. I call it the suicide stop. If you've ever been through there at 7 o'clock in the morning, you better get ready. But the most important thing is this city council, which, as a matter of fact, my dad served with Councilman Willingham for 12 years, and I can understand about orderly growth. But if you try to get out on that road, it's just about impossible. Also, I'm trying to not repeat what's been told. The school systems haven't been mentioned. They are packed to the brim. We can't put nobody else in them. Also, the staff really fudged on the 3 mile. I've driven it, measured it. They may be in there. I do not believe the whole project was in that area. They also said that staff has found there's adequate infrastructure in the network. They've said that. Is that the truth? The city has also said that to get the 10-day letter out, I got mine 4 days ahead of time. And so some of us didn't get one. I think it was for the fire department. I was a member of Jacksonville Fire Department as a volunteer for 40 years. And I'm telling you, the time it takes them to get there, Southwest Volunteer Fire Department will be the first one on the scene and take care of the business. Even if they sent three vehicles, 3 apparatuses to a structural fire in that area, they got to go to 3 miles. They got to go to 3 miles from station number 1. That leaves a void in your city. Police department, the same thing. I can only hope that you will positively follow the recommendation of the zoning and planning board that the city council approved to take care of this, that voted unanimously not to approve it. So, yes, that's the truth. So I probably said enough. I appreciate your time, Mr. Samuel.
Wait, after that one. Okay, remember about the repetition rule, you know.
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I think I'm on the right.
I'll let you know if you don't. Okay.
Well, and I think if I'm on the right, I mean, I worked on this all last week. We didn't get any, these notices, what was supposed to happen didn't happen. It didn't happen on time. I know that because I checked with people, but just bear with me.
Tell her your name and address.
Jimmy Shiver, 142 Troy Avenue, and I was getting ready to do that. My name's Jimmy Shiver. I live at 142 Troy Avenue, as well as 12 other families in a subdivision known as Rolling Creeks Estates on 5-acre tracts. Like folks who choose to live in the city for their own reasons and personal choices, we chose to live in the county with more space to enjoy and less traffic. This annexation will bring the city way of life to our back door with high-density development versus what the county approved zoning for almost 150 acres of this property with single-family dwelling use only. The remaining 20 acres on the other side of the road would be for highway business use only. And of course, there's going to be a proposal to change this zoning tonight right after this. I know that this proposed annexation will not subject us to city taxes and zoning at this time. But what about in the future? As bills are introduced and get passed by the General Assembly, I would not thought this type of annexation would have been now possible in years past. And even if you were to approve this annexation tonight, I would ask that you not approve the rezoning request and leave it at the low-density type zoning that the county had approved for this property, which better suits the desires and face of our Southwest community in which we chose to live. I mean, and not that it makes any difference. I retired from New Hanover County. I was retired as their chief electrical inspector. I spent 24 years driving back and forth. I saw these kinds of issues and concerns happen between New Hanover County and Wilmington, and everything that they had proposed in the final outcome was 2 different things. It turned out to be a nightmare in most cases. I mean, it just did. And I know it's a financial thing, it's a growth thing, but the winners are the developer and the city, because I know as the city, it's hard to turn away these tax dollars that you're looking at. I mean, I understand that, but it doesn't make it right for the rest of us that have to deal with the aftermath that, of it after it happens. But, just to be heard tonight and to feel, and I've researched this a lot, and most of the time it's the city issues, but the city lost a lot of their annexation powers in 2011, as I think Philip alluded to. But what was unique in my reading and studying this, in the 2023-24 session, a town of Summerfield in Guilford County, for the same reasons that we're asking tonight, we're turning a developer away because they, in their small town of about 12,000 folks in a quaint-like community, were trying to stop those kinds of things from happening with the city. Well, even though the way the law reads now, it's a lot more complicated, but there was a de-annexation process for the city of Summerfield. The city of Summerfield lost that 1,000 acres at the developer's request, and they built high density in the city. The county took it over. What was unique about that situation, and it could be done again, although the process is convoluted, the city lost 1,000 acres of tax base by that de-annexation process. What's to stop the developers from maybe not getting approval from your side of it and approaching also the county to do something like that? It might not be possible, but it can happen. So, I mean, it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to say there. Something you need to consider. And that's all I've got to say. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to speak here tonight, but 20 years ago, I just didn't think this kind of thing would happen. And I know it can go out 3 miles from the primary city limits. I mean, it'll result in me selling my property, and you don't care, I know. But like I said, this is our neighborhood. This city is your neighborhood. And we appreciate the kind of environment we've got to live in and raise families in and everything else. And no disrespect to the city, we chose not to be in the city or be affected by decisions that the city makes, like we would be in this case at this current time. Anyway, thank you.
My name's Tom Orengia, and I've heard all these people back here talking about the highways, and y'all want to put new housing in. All right? I've never been one to try to stop growth. But what I'm tired of seeing is people who have gone out there and tried to help other people where they could in housing and get stomped on like a little roach. Okay? I've had the opportunity to sell my property 4 times. All 4 times, this city stopped that sale by lying. I have approached the planning board about it, and they fired the gentleman that was doing the lying. I'm proud of that. That speaks for you, okay? But here is my question. You're going out there and you're building all these developers. You're allowing them to build 250,000 and up houses. How about the kid coming out of high school that can't afford that? That's got to stay with mama and daddy. That's the people I represent, okay? I represent the retired person that did the best he could with his whole life. Now he's like me. He's out there trying to live on what little bit of Social Security we can get, all right? It's tough on that, guys. I don't have a military background, so I don't get a pension, all right? I don't get any of that stuff. I have to live on what I've earned in the past. I went back to teaching college school so I could make my ends meet. Okay, I had 60 years as an electrician. Most of it was right here in this city. A couple of the people that I work with, they have sat in Sammy's position as a mayor. They've sat on that board up there back from the 50s and on. John L. Zhang, Lyndon Sutherland, Dan Sutherland. They've sat in a lot of these positions. Several of them have sat in Senate. But they are not, at this point, taking people like myself that bought this property. I'm not out to make the $1 million like a lot of people are, like these developers are. But if I could take somebody that's struggling and get them on their feet and make help them make a decent citizen out of themselves,
then I've done something, and I've got a legacy that follows me and everybody else in this room. We've done something for this city at that point, because we helped the little people that's going to one day become the big people. They're going to be sitting in them chairs up there. Why does the city of Jacksonville keep pushing us down? And here's where I'm getting at. When Florence came through, I lost 20 houses that night. That's a heck of a lick, and that's putting it very politely. All right? You take those 20 houses at $650, $700 a month, and I'm cutting the grass, I'm furnishing the water, I'm hauling off the trash for that same money, because these people are trying to get on their feet. Or they're elderly people that are just trying to make ends meet. I went to the city. Oh, yes, sir. You get it cleaned up, get it beside the road, and they got these big trucks that are going to come by and pick it up. All right? Paul Howard, my next door neighbor, I had a trash pile out there. Took me 27 trips to take it to the trash dump. Your trucks never showed up that I was promised. The help that I was promised never got there. But everybody in the city and around us got it. But Kennedy Road and up through Blue Creek and all that, we didn't get no help, even though we got promised. All right? Now, the whole point in a nutshell is this. If you want to give all this construction and let all this money from these big developers go for it. They can live in their big dynasty houses. But when you do that, you're letting the little guy down there smother to death. And that's why they're not staying in this county. I teach school, and I teach young college kids just coming in trying to get a trade out. You ought to hear their stories. You might sit down and actually cry about some of them, and they are busting their hump, working 8, 10 hours a day, and then coming to a class 6 hours a night, trying to do better. And every corner they turn, they get like me, they get slapped in the face. How far have we got to go to wake people up around here? Thank you.
Oh, just one thing. Would you tell her your address, please?
I'm sorry, I thought I said I'm at 1158 Kennedy Road.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam. Mr. Sam.
Okay, so we're going to hear, I need to hear from the applicant's side. John, did you have something to add?
Yes. My name is Johnny Shiver. I live at 1731 Pony Farm Road. I've lived in Jacksonville, Onslow County since 1948. I've watched it grow from a dirt road on Pony Farm, which was Meadowview Road at that time, and dirt road on Blue Creek Road. And I've watched it grow, and I've enjoyed seeing Jacksonville grow. I've worked in Jacksonville all my life. I was a merchant on Western Boulevard for 10 years. I served you folks as a license examiner at the DMV license office here in town till I retired. And then I opened a small business at my house and was proud to be able to do it. The traffic. Folks, we can't handle anymore. It's just to the point now that you can't even get out of your driveway. It's Pony Farm Interstate Pony Farm is what it is. And when you come out there to go somewhere, you better have your foot on the accelerator and foot on the brake, because that's what it's going to take to get where you're going. But I graduated high school right here at Jacksonville High School. Proud Cardinal. Always been a proud merchant and a resident of this area. I've paid a lot of taxes, and I've earned a lot of money by being able to stay here. And I appreciate everything that I've ever had. But please don't burden us with this. I live there. My back door opens to where I can see the clearing of the woodland that's going to be developed. Didn't even want it developed into a housing project to start with, but I don't have any say-so on that, and God bless them. But don't put something out there that's you're going to have to build a school. Right now, you don't even have room for all the kids that are in school. You have to put mobile homes out on the fields and the lots around that school in order to house the students that you've got. I watched it when they put a big sewer line right across my front yard and uprooted all my beautiful grass, but I signed the form. I got my little change that they gave me for going through my property. I saw Jacksonville put their sewage, dump out on Meadowview Road, which is out past my house. I watched them put county water out our way, and we were able to hook on to county water, and that was mighty nice, and a lot of people were glad that we did. And we built schools all around. But the area that we're in with city of Jacksonville, you can drive all over Jacksonville and there's potholes this deep. I had to go around one today to keep from hitting the front of my car on that pothole. So how are you going to maintain all the streets in that subdivision, keep up with everything in Jacksonville, your fire department, all of your city employees? It don't make sense. And I just wanted to air my thoughts about it, and I appreciate you letting me do that, and thank you for my time.
Okay. I don't think we can do any more without repetition there, so.
Got two.
Good evening. My name is Julie Tracy. I live at 110 Troy Avenue, and I grew up in Jacksonville and left in 1982, moved to New Hanover County. And this is a cautionary tale. I lived in New Hanover County for 42 years. I watched them develop Parker Farm and put in Mayfair. I watched them develop Landfall. If you've ever tried to drive down Military Cutoff or Eastwood Road, you know it's a traffic burden. It's a traffic burden that is beyond comprehension. And not only that, but the fatalities just keep mounting because it's not safe. These were sleepy little areas that the city of Wilmington annexed and turned into an absolute nightmare through development. I live facing Pony Farm Road, and I can tell you the traffic is awful. I know we've discussed this ad nauseum, but it is definitely something that needs to be considered, especially when you look at what's happening to Wilmington, and anyone who ever drives in Wilmington these days complains about how bad and bogged down the traffic is. There are no bypasses and no alternative routes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Alan Cook, live off of Jim Blake Road. I don't really want to be up here, but I'll talk about it. Everybody's talking about traffic, amount of people, this and that, but one thing that nobody has ever talked about here is this gentleman mentioned that there's an agreement with the volunteer fire department. You're putting 494 single-family homes and 34 businesses in that near intersection. That volunteer fire department is on Pony Farm Road. Where do you think they're traveling to get to that fire department? They're having to travel on Blue Creek Road and Pony Farm Road and deal with all that traffic. I live out in the county. It takes the sheriff or EMS at least 20 to an hour to get out there for an emergency. So these roads are small country roads with no shoulders. So if there's a police coming down, there's fire trucks coming down, there is no place for anybody to pull over except for putting themselves in the ditch. So that's where there's an issue there. And you've got fire, EMS, police having issues. That is going to have a problem. And then importing 494 families into a rural area, you're importing crime. So like I said, it takes 20 minutes to an hour to get police, sheriffs out there, or state police, state highway troopers. So now you're importing crime out to that area. Not everybody's nice. And I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people in that area that support the Second Amendment and don't support trespassing. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that that is also needs to be a consideration, that you are importing crime to an area that's going to impact police and first responders. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't think anybody's going to be able to add anything that's not repetitive at this point. So to move this along, I need to give the fours a little opportunity to state their case. So, Mr. Houston?
Jason Houston, 306 New Bridge Street. There's been a lot of discussion tonight. I had a whole bunch of stuff I was going to say, but a lot of people stole my thunder. So that happens when you go last sometimes. The one thing I want to say is I think the only question tonight is whether or not the city council wants the city to grow. That's the question at hand. The only way the city can grow is through voluntary annexation. You know the city's pretty constrained geographically. You got the military base to your south, you got Hoffman Forest, and you got a lot of development right around the city. All those areas are off the table. So you're left with a couple corridors that you can explore in order to grow. And Southwest is obviously one of those areas. It makes sense because you got a lot of infrastructure out there already. You know, we've heard a lot of people talk about the force main and the sewer, water, all the things that you need to do to have a place like that. Something I heard a lot about was, you know, fire protection, police protection. We've already been in talks with the city about providing a location for a fire station, adding a police precinct location, doing all the things to help make this part of the town. The same thing happened when we came and brought the request to the city when we were talking about what we wanted to do to develop. It was the city's request that we added more commercial and more multifamily to make it feel like an actual town. In short, they wanted to have enough things out there to support the people that were living there, right? So not everybody's got to drive up and down Blue Creek to go to town to get something. You'll have something nearby. Let's talk about traffic for a second. So before I came to the meeting, I went to DOT's website and looked up the traffic counts for Blue Creek Road. The last time they did a traffic count was in 2024, which is pretty recent for DOT. It showed an average daily traffic count of 5,700 cars per day. That sounds like a lot of cars. It does to me if I had that many going by my front door every day. If we just go one street over, let's go down to 111 where we got Catherine Lake Road, at Catherine's Lake, same road, two-lane road, right? It's at 10,000, okay? Let's go a little further. Let's go over to Stateside, Gum Branch, two-lane highway, same road, 18,000 trips per day. Now those are the same people moving up and down. So just to say it, Blue Creek's got a lot of capacity left on the table for traffic. Nobody's happy about that, but it's just the way that it is. Lastly, I want to say,
hold it down, or I'm gonna clear the room. He's got his chance to speak. You've had yours.
Lastly, I want to say is that we've already got this project approved as far as zoning with the county. We are prepared to move forward with the county planning. We have just as many houses with the county plan as we do with the city plan. Okay? So the fact remains with you is whether or not you want to be part of it. Either way, this is developing. We're going to develop. It's going to be homes. We're going to do TIAs. We're going to do traffic counts. We're going to have turn lanes. We're going to do all the things. It's going to happen either way. The question is whether or not the city wants to jump on the train with us or get left behind. You know, this is an opportunity for the city to grow. This is an opportunity for the city to have a door open in this area. And so I just leave that with you. If you have any technical questions, I can probably answer some of those too. If not, I'll sit down.
While we have this meeting, we'll just step on our neck. He's already said they've got.
You're out of order, sir. Leave. Get up and leave.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let this go through.
Just
put a noose around our neck and hang us. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now, that was totally unnecessary. You know, we're going to keep this civil in here. Like I said, this side, the side that doesn't want it, had the opportunity to speak. I even overstayed myself on that, allowed a lot more people to speak than I intended to. Let's give them a chance to talk. Like I said, you know, we have to clear the room, we're going to clear the room.
Can we have one rebuttal to his statement?
No, sir. Who else over here?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity. I guess I'll tell. I'm Jennifer Morton, 503 Newbridge. Thank you guys for the opportunity to speak with you today about this project.
We can't hear you.
Okay, I will speak louder. I want to acknowledge that sometimes change and growth can be difficult. It can be something challenging, especially for the people most closely impacted by it. But that doesn't mean that it's not necessary for the growth of our city. One thing that the city has been really big on recently is growth, and I'm out of order on my notes, but being business friendly as well. We all talk about.
Mayor, we can't hear her.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Can you hear that?
Speak up.
I will do the best I can. It's echoing now for me. Is it echoing for you?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe it's in the middle now. Okay. So one thing we all talk about regularly is housing shortages. And in order to address that, we need development. That's just common sense. This area has been set up for growth long before now. There's Yop Road that's been developed, the bypass. You know, I don't have to tell you at all. There's the improvements happening at 53. There's the accessibility to sewer. This area is an area that's just set up to take this type of improvement. It's also within the city's desired growth path. You've heard, I think Jason alluded to the fact that there's only so many directions that the city can go, and so this is within one of those directions. We've done a few projects with the city recently, mainly on the north side. And we've appreciated our relationship with the city. We feel like we make a good team together, and we'd like to continue to be a partner in the city's desire for growth. The city has said, like I mentioned earlier, a lot that growth is important to them, as well as being business friendly. And this is another opportunity to reinforce that statement. We do feel like the city is backing up that statement, and we'd love to see that continue. We know that not everyone wants this, as it's pretty obvious. And we fully support their ability to not request annexation of their property. We also have that same right to request annexation. We've met the required criteria, and so we're asking you to approve this annexation today. Thank you.
Go ahead and close the public hearing on this matter. Council, you're being asked to consider the annexation ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something?
Sure.
So I sit on the planning board, and I was there at that meeting last Monday, and the planning board did have some concerns. And I do feel like the developer has answered some of those questions. I know that roads have been a big talk about. We cannot control those roads. I think Representative Shepherd, I think he'd be the man for the job to talk about those roads and try to help you out with that. But as far as the county or the city, we can help that development. And I think, what the developers have been talking about, I think they've answered a lot of our questions and a lot of concerns that we had about that. So I just like to put that out there. Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Sosa, can you speak to the county already approving their zoning? Can you speak to that, or?
Mr. King, he was out here, but he could probably give a little more. Oh, there he is. About on the county side of it, because they weren't present at the meeting.
So as far as the county approvals, I cannot speak to that. I think that the applicants can speak to that better than I. But as far as the planning board goes, we had 2 requests. One's establishing a base district that if you so choose to annex this property, we'll talk about with the next item. And then the following item was for an applicant rezoning to change that base district to a planned development district. And the planning board last week, the city planning board, recommended denial about the RMF HD, which is residential multifamily high density zoning district for the base class. And then when we got to the plan unit development residential, they denied that, or their recommending board, they recommended denial based on the information that they had that night.
So
But
what
as
has
far as
changed?
county approvals, I cannot speak to that.
What has changed?
Since the planning board? The biggest thing that's changed on the planned development district since last week is that staff had 2 concerns from a legal standpoint, and the applicant has addressed both of those items, and we'll talk about that if you so choose to annex the property with agenda item number 9, where they've amended their terms and conditions and also the planned development master plan.
Other questions? All right, do we have a motion?
No, you do not, sir.
Okay, well, do we? Is there a motion on this to consider the annexation ordinance?
I'll make a motion, I'll make a motion to approve, and we move forward with the satellite annexation.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Here none? All-
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Willingham?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's, while we hear the concerns and understand the concerns, and traffic always follows, unfortunately, it always follows development, it never precedes it. And in an annexation situation, we can only mandate what happens within the boundaries of what is annexed. So we can't mandate development outside of the property that the developer owns. The sticky problem is getting DOT and other things to deal with peripheries, which is what we've heard tonight, and I hear you, I feel the pain on that. But what's important to note, at least for me, is that this development is happening whether we approve the annexation or not. It's going to either be septic or it's going to be sewer, but those homes will be built, and that makes a difference. So for me, you know, it's the benefit to the city
Mr.
to
Willingham?
be part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our fight or the conflict is not with city council and adjacent communities that don't want to be in the city limits. It's bigger than that. It's what your representative talked about earlier about opposing our traditional path to growth and enacting legislation against that, and considering the voluntary annexations as a loophole and the desire to close that. So without either of those, there is no growth. The other problem is something that we've talked about recently is that Jacksonville doesn't always take from you. We give a lot. You work here, you shop here, and when you shop, you pay sales taxes. That sales tax should come back here, and we wouldn't be in a predicament where this is the only way we grow. When we have those revenues, the sales tax doesn't come back per capita like it should, like a point of sale kind of thing. So that's what I mean when I say this is larger than this. We're considering all these things when we look at our avenues for growth. And if we're reduced to this, then we look at it differently. We want to be good neighbors. We want you to want to come to Jacksonville as the town center that hosts the courthouse and all of these things. We want to be a better town center. We're looking at ways right now where we can be a better attraction for you and everybody, Camp Lejeune and everybody. So that's the predicament that we find ourselves in. I'm glad the developers and the proponents spoke. They need to come before you and face the fire and tell you what's in it for you. I think it's obvious what's in it for them, and you see what's in it for us. But somebody's got to tell you what's in it for you. I'm a little troubled when the developer says, Jacksonville, get on board or not. Because it's a tremendous benefit to the developer if we take over the roads. Who's going to take over the roads? It's a tremendous benefit if we give sewer and he doesn't have to build septic tanks. Tremendous benefit. Tremendous benefit because you heard your representative say they don't have money for roads. So they know that it's a huge benefit. That's why they're here for us. And, we need to be, open and honest about that too. I don't have anything further.
Can I add one more thing to this?
Please do.
Mr. House, I have a question for you. As a developer, it costs you guys a lot more money to build those roads up to city standards versus county. It would save you incredibly a lot of money by building in the county, right, to the county specs versus ours. Is that correct?
Very much so. County, we can do strip pavement. City requires curb and gutter, wider streets, sidewalks on both sides of the streets, all the things that makes the city feel like the city. And yes, that's correct.
And you have to have wider streets, plus the cul-de-sacs have to be bigger and all that, and the stand the fire trucks and the trash truck, or the fire trucks and trash trucks.
All the things that follow, yes, sir.
Correct.
I have a question.
Jason.
As far as taking over the streets.
Yes, sir.
Is the county going to take over the streets?
County does not own streets, but DOT does. So we would build and design the streets to DOT standard.
Which would be less than ours, correct?
Say
Which
again?
would be less than ours?
Correct, yes, sir.
Yeah. And then they'll have to take care of it at some point.
That's right.
Is there an HOA for this community?
All new developments built today have HOAs. Anything in the city is going to have an HOA. A lot of the HOA requirements are for stormwater concerns, for built-upon areas, taking care of the infrastructure.
Don't a lot of HOAs take over roads in their subdivisions?
If they're private streets and private, yes, that is true if it's a private subdivision.
And this won't be that.
We wouldn't plan for this to be.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry, I can't bring you into the conversation at this point, Mr. Pollard.
I'm sorry,
Good.
can you hear me? You've given the developer a second shot at this. I got one thing I'd like to call you.
I'm sorry, we can't do it.
You said it was not true.
It's out of order.
You gave him a second shot.
We asked them a question.
That's exactly right. I was on the board of transportation 6 years. I know a little bit about it.
All right, council, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right.
Members of City Council, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Where's the developer?
Public hearing.
This meeting is still in session. If you have comments outside, please take them outside. Thank you.
We're talking about 1.25 mile. You can't compare the traffic, Kelsey.
So they're saying they're wrong? Both of y'all did.
Thank you.
Y'all speak a lot better. I just.
Speak at the next.
They're staying inside.
Good point.
Anybody want some water?
Yes, sir. Give me just a little.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Pardon. Okay, so we're 9, right?
Appreciate you fellows' good work.
Gosh, yeah, work this thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and go on to item number 8 for this evening. This is a public hearing map amendment, a zoning map amendment, established city zoning for 169.92 acres at the intersection of Blue Creek Road and Pony Farm Road to commercial, corridor commercial and residential multifamily high-density RMF HD. Mr. King's going to present this item.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. These next two items are dealing with the same tract of land that we were just speaking about with the annexation. In 25 years, this is the first time we've had to do a rezoning like these next two. I wanted to preface this presentation with that. The first one, we have to establish a base district because of the annexation that took place, but also because the applicant has submitted a petition to rezone the area to planned development residential. And we don't want to use a county base district for that base district because we don't keep the county zoning ordinance. We keep our own unified development ordinance. So we want it to be an understandable item that's within the city council adopted ordinance. So we're going to talk about one rezoning for that base district, and then we're going to turn right around and talk about the specific rezoning that would follow. So because of the annexation request, the general statutes state that we have 60 days, well, they recommend that we establish city zoning within 60 days. Technically, we can go a little bit longer than that, but we need to go ahead and convert it to a city zoning district now that it's been annexed into the city. So I'm not going to basically repeat all of the area information that we've already talked about tonight. It was zone residential 15 and community business in the county. Now we are proposing that you consider a city zoning district, which is corridor commercial for the 17 roughly acres on the opposite side of Blue Creek Road, and then residential multifamily high density on the north side here on the drawing. As mentioned earlier, this tract of land is also in the flight path overlay, which is what you see before you. Before you is the existing zoning with the county and what we are proposing. So as you'll see on the screen, the orange area is residential multifamily high density. The red area to the south would be the corridor commercial. Both zoning districts allow different uses per Article 4.1, which is the use table within the Unified Development Ordinance. There's been some talk about this, so I want to clarify some of these items. There's different statutory requirements for annexation hearing notices versus zoning or rezoning notices. So with a rezoning, which is now what we're talking about, the state statute says that we have to send out notices to adjoining property owners between 10 and 25 days. They give us a very narrow window that we have to send those letters to. We sent those notices to the adjoiners. That doesn't mean people that live a half mile down the road. That's just the adjoining property owners. Those letters are mailed to the recipients go to based on the tax information. So if you have property and you haven't updated where your mails should go with the tax office, all we can do is use that tax information, and that's where we sent the letters to. Additionally, we post signs, which you see before you on the screen today, and we also post legal advertisements in the newspaper. So we we advertise 3 different ways to try to make folks aware that there is a proposed public hearing, and that gives people an opportunity to come out and speak in favor or against. And I think that our notices, while some may have liked more time, I think that it was effective. I think last year in April, we had a hearing before the council, and there were some questions about inadequate signage that was posted. We think we've done a better job of that now, where we post more signs to make sure that, we're being as transparent as possible. So with this, we're trying to establish base district, which is RMF HD for the large tract, and then 17 acres would be quarter commercial. The planning board recommended denial last week, and this is the opportunity for city council to make the decision on the proposed zoning. Be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Questions of Ryan?
Well, obviously, because I was there on Monday, because I know the density was a big issue, and I know the multifamily, is that going to be apartments or townhomes? Is that?
The article RMF HD, the use table allows townhouses, duplexes, single family, multifamily. There is a plethora of land uses that the RMF HD allows.
So, Ryan, has any of that any other tracks on Blue Creek Road been developed to any size or scale?
I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak. I mean, this is the only track that we've talked about is in the planning office as far as going into the city.
But you haven't looked at any of the surrounding? Okay.
Other than what's already there.
It's adjacent to several subdivisions, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
Let's go back to the map. There are some larger lots along here. Let's see if I can get this thing to annotate.
Okay.
So you have some larger lots here, and then you have some smaller, more dense lots on this side, most likely septic, so therefore you're probably talking 15, 30,000 square foot lots on this side, and then obviously these are 4 or 5 acre lots.
Okay.
And this is just the beginning of the process. There'll have to be site plans approved and other things as the project moves forward. Is that correct?
That is correct. We'll have subdivisions. We will have site plans that will have to follow, well, based on just the base district. Let's say that the next agenda item doesn't happen. There will be subdivision plans that will have to go through and be reviewed by the Jacksonville Technical Review Committee. We have outside agencies from both Duke and Jones Onslow, DOT. They all review the plans that are set forth. You have, so subdivisions that would be reviewed. If it triggers transportation impact analysis, then we would basically require those be done and studied as part of those developments. They have to trigger those average daily trips in order to be required. But all those items would be part of the development review. Then as far as like on the commercial side, we would have site plans, same thing. They would be reviewed by TRC. Any traffic impact analysis would be required, and in typical fashion for the city.
And if there's improvements that are recommended by the traffic impact study or analysis, those would be part of the site plan and approval process.
That is correct. And sometimes they may be phased in. They may be, once you get to a certain number of houses, it just depends. DOT is going to have a role in this. Obviously, it's their road, so they will have an opportunity to review that. Jacksonville's standards for traffic impact analysis are higher than DOT's. From what I understand, we have 100 AM/PM trips or 1,000 daily, whereas the DOT is a 3,000 average daily trip. So the TI is going to be triggered sooner with city development than it is with DOT developments.
And there's a lot of other things that are required by the city that aren't necessarily required by the county.
We believe that the city does have a higher development standard. We believe that our landscaping standards, sidewalks on both sides of the roadway, the street construction, it's to a higher standard, and part of that's because we intend to take over the road maintenance, so we want to make sure that we get a quality product that we are going to continue to maintain after it is dedicated and accepted by City Council.
And that includes buffers between this project and existing property owners.
That is correct. If there's a required buffer, then that is something that has to stay in perpetuity.
And that could be trees, it could be a number of different things, right?
That is correct.
Any other questions of Brian? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Okay, we're going to open up, recess the regular meeting and open a public hearing on this matter. Anyone wish to speak to this particular item? Way back there. And this is regarding the zoning?
Yes.
Okay.
Melissa Endicott. I'm at 1400 Blue Creek Road. So my property directly adjoins this tract that they're trying to do. So I completely understand the annexation. I completely understand development. My problem is just the number, right? The amount that you're going to allow there. And just for some background, there is a subdivision right next to this property, but when that was put in 2005, they required a turn lane at that point because of the traffic. Part of the bypass that they were going to redo included expanding the end of Blue Creek Road with a turn lane. That was pre-COVID, so our traffic level has already been established by DOT that the road is not adequate. But of course, they ran out of money during COVID. So there's no more funding, and that project's been postponed right now with no time frame expected that they're going to complete that. So in addition to that, our schools are at capacity. The middle school is at capacity. The high school is at capacity. So it's not really that they're going to build homes, it's the number of homes. And also, everything surrounding it is single family. So I would expect, like, it would be another single family, right, to maintain the area for everybody that's living there and chose to live out there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Tom Hare. I live at 214 Meadowview Road on Landfill Road. So one of the items, the only item really I want to speak about is the amount of trash that is going to be accumulated from this building project if it remains at single-family homes. I looked up the numbers. A person averages 4.9 pounds of trash per day, which comes out to roughly 13,000 pounds a year of trash that a single person creates and generates. This is all coming down, come off of Blue Creek Road, down Pony Farm, down Meadowview. Since 2017, that road, the turn on to Meadowview Road, or the loop road right there, has been damaged from all the truck weight on two different occasions where it's taken off the complete top layer of asphalt. Okay, so if this remained at single-family homes, I didn't calculate the numbers for 400 full families, but it's pretty significant. And if it went into multi-family dwellings where a single dwelling now is turned into 6 different families, generating waste, all that's going into the county landfill. And the trucks are weighing out at 20 to 50,000 pounds apiece every day. That's going down the road. It's going by school property. And it's a safety hazard. There was another project stopped out, county project that was stopped because of the amount of truck traffic that goes through that area. So that's my main concern is the damage that's going to be done from a multifamily or high density project as opposed to if they were single family homes. That's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Hands? Okay. Before you speak, let me ask Anthony. That intersection there, Blue Creek, it's been a long time since I've been out at Blue Creek Pony Farm Road, even though my grandparents lived on Pony Farm Road for a long time. Is that a four-way stop there? Or is
I believe so, yes.
It's not a traffic light. What would warrant a traffic light?
I'm sure it probably would warrant a traffic signal, and that's what we'll find out when we do the TIA.
Okay.
Frankly, the peak hour congestion out there, like the folks have talked about, wouldn't say easily, but it would be eased if a traffic signal was installed. That way, every vehicle doesn't have to stop as they progress through the intersection. So if I were to look into the future, I would expect that the TIA is going to say we need a traffic signal out there, very likely with some turn lane improvements as well.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony, one question on that, sorry.
Sir.
So if that happens, does that happen right away, or does that wait down the road till DOT has funding?
It depends. And so the TIA is a very complicated process. And the purpose of the TIA is to mitigate the impact of the development that is being proposed and being permitted, okay? If the improvement, the need for the improvement can be tied back to the development, then the developer then has to build those improvements as part of their development plan. Now, I believe Ryan said earlier that it's very common for some of these improvements to be phased in over time, and I fully expect that that would be the case here with this project as well. Things that are caused by background traffic or traffic that exists there today, we would look to DOT to help with funding to make those improvements. We've been very successful in working with Senator Lazaro over the years to pull together what I call discretionary DOT funds to help build traffic signals. We did that at Plantation Boulevard and Gum Branch. We also are getting ready to do that at Williamsburg Plantation and Western Boulevard. So, there's a number of different ways that we can get to where we need to go, and the TIA will help inform that, but we don't know all of that information right now until we get further down the road with TRC review, additional design, et cetera.
So you agree it could provide some relief as far as the traffic?
Absolutely. Especially if we were able to partner with our delegates at the General Assembly to secure some of that discretionary funding. Most recently, we were able to work with Senator Lazara for funding in Richlands to help make some intersection improvements there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's certainly possible. We just have to reach out and talk to them about the problem.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Prince, I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On average, how much do those traffic signals cost?
Whew, that's a tough question, but I'll say on the cheap end, $250. On the high end, could be $750, $750,000, that is. Yeah, so just for reference, the one that we're getting ready to build over on Williamsburg Plantation at Western, that one's probably going to be around $450.
Well, those are multiple lanes, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And a lot of traffic. And there is also a lag time in getting materials, even since COVID. So, but the good thing is that we've been able to work with Tidewater and our friends here many times in the past to overcome similar challenges.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony, appreciate it. I'm sorry about that. I thought that was something that needed to be clarified while I was
That's
thinking
fine,
about it.
that's
So,
fine.
yeah.
My name is Angel Alexander. I live at 543 OCI Drive. And I think the main issue for me is I moved in that area over 25 years ago because it's a more relaxed area and you don't have all the city hustle and bustle. And we are close to the city, so that provides us a little bit of, we spend money in the city as well and taxes. But we do not want the city to be encroaching into our area. And with that being in that area, that kind of puts like a foot. And I think that's what all the other residents are thinking is that now the city's in our area. They've been trying to come in our area for a few years. And we've been able to stop it, and then now it's like, hey, you guys are going to be there, and then before you know it, our relaxed living is no longer relaxed living, and then everything that we've worked for, because we bought our home there thinking we're going to, live and die there, and now we're going to have all these other issues around us, and the developer doesn't care because he doesn't live in our neighborhood, and nobody on the council lives in our neighborhood. It doesn't experience what we did. It didn't buy their home in our neighborhood for the reasons that we bought. You bought your home in your neighborhood for your reasons, and we bought our home in our neighborhood for our reasons. And I don't feel like those are being looked at. So that's why what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Way back in the back.
Van Marshburn. I live 457 Foy Lockamy Road. Mine's really more of a question. I understand development. I understand single-family homes. And I have some understanding of the need for a developer to be able to put sufficient structures in to get a return on their investment. And this may have been said, as I'm really asking the question to them. Like I said, I understand the number of single-family homes, and I have absolutely no problem with that. I am very concerned when we start talking about a high-density multifamily, we start talking about, because right now on Blue Creek Road, there's a set of apartments going up, and I would hate to think we're going to put 15 or 20 of those in there. Can they answer the question, how many units do they anticipate putting on this piece of property? Not just the number of single-family homes, but the number of doors where people be living, that would equate to X number of families living on that piece of property. I've just left no answer to that if they can do that. Thank you.
Is that something you're prepared to do at this time, or you need?
Jason Houston, 306 New Bridge Street. What we're doing here now is setting the base district. And so a lot of these questions probably go away when we go to the next agenda item and we actually show you what we're going to be doing as part of the planned development, that we're going to be doing. I guess, though, to answer that question is, we wanted to retain the right to be able to do some multifamily. The developer wants to do townhomes. The majority of the site's going to be single family, but we do have an area that we want to do townhomes in. And we want to reserve the right to be able to have some fluctuations in case the world changes, right? So, if in 2 years from now, single family housing ain't selling, and we need to get some more starter homes, townhomes, something that's at a better price point, we want that flexibility to be there. Now, that being said, the RMFHD is a much higher density standard than the county zoning currently has. But we're not planning to do anything that dense. And you'll see that when you get to the next one when we get there. But we had always planned on doing single family and multifamily in the commercial areas. So I hope that answers that question.
Well, if you'll just keep that question.
Yeah, so just to say it, the county right now, we can do 490 homes on the R15 side, and we can do 160-ish homes on the other side. I think they allow 10 units per acre in highway business and, one every 15,000 square feet for the R15 zone.
Thank you. All right. Any hands? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing in this matter, and council, you're being asked to, I got it in front of me, to consider the rezoning request, proposed rezoning request.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we grant the rezoning upon the finding that it is reasonable and meets the findings of A through J, and that it advances the public interest and sets the base zoning for us to consider further action.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion amongst the council? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Now we get to hear the details.
Okay. Did say 9, didn't it? I can't see this thing.
9.
Okay, I can't see the screen here. All right, this is agenda item number 9. This is public hearing for a zoning map amendment for rezoning property located at the intersection of Blue Creek Road and Pony Farm Road to a planned development residential or PD-R. And Ryan King will be presenting this item. Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Same tract of land for the fourth straight item, but this is the third straight item. Familiar with the site, familiar with the existing zoning prior to the rezoning that just occurred, so all this is based on prior to your action. The developer has submitted a request to rezone that base district to planned development residential. With a planned development residential district, there's part of that is terms and conditions and also a master plan. So this is something that the mayor and council, if you approve this, it's very specific on what can happen in terms of uses, densities, landscaping requirements, parking requirements, all those items that the developer can help mold into what they would like to see happen. I will note that on the plans, a lot of what the developer has done here has been, they're referring to the Unified Development Ordinance. And what that means is that versus them trying to create a special standard, they're saying we just want to do what the Unified Development Ordinance requires. We're not asking for flexibility with landscaping. We're not asking for flexibility with road networks, whatever it may be. So if you look on the data block there on your amended attachment F that is at your places before you today, they specify those items. During the planning board meeting, there was 2 items of concern that staff had that the applicant has amended since it went to planning board. So the question was asked on the last item, what's changed? Well, they've modified the planned development district to only specify the uses that the Unified Development Ordinance allows. They're not asking for additional uses beyond what the PDR district allows. And then there was also some proposal related to modifications and amendments. There's specific language in the Unified Development Ordinance that says if they want to make changes to this, some things can be done administratively, and there's other items that have to go back through the same public hearing process. And they were proposing to kind of create some standards, and we said, no, we have to follow what the Unified Development Ordinance states for that. So in your terms and conditions, which is your other attachment that's before you tonight, they have struck through those items. It's no longer on that terms and conditions, so that's no longer part of it. So now they have basically alleviated the concerns that planning board, that planning staff had when we met with planning board. So in the recommendation line, we're no longer recommending contingent upon the applicant amending those 2 items because they've done that. So items on this master plan include, if you look in the Burgundy area, those are identified as single family or multifamily. That gives them the flexibility to do either or. Now, they could do all townhouses, they could do all single family based on this plan development. The orange area and the yellow area are identified for commercial and multifamily. So they're kind of showing how the road network is going to look like, what the land uses are. Once again, they're not asking for reduced setbacks. They're not asking for reduced landscaping requirements. That would be per the Unified Development Ordinance. One of the things that the applicant has modified since the planning board meeting last week is they've identified, you'll see the green along Blue Creek Road here. Let's see if I can get a color to work here for you. They show a green area along this area. They've also now added a buffer, a 10-foot buffer along that area, and then also along this boundary. They did not have that prior to tonight's meeting. So they've added some preserving some buffering area within that along the periphery next to those single-family subdivisions that are adjoining. It may end up being more than 10 feet, but they've at least identified that there'll be a 10-foot buffer within that area. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Like I stated on the previous item, the Planning Advisory Board did recommend denial of this item based on the previous zoning item as well. We will have to amend the CAMA land use plan to reflect this area since it's now been brought into the city's jurisdiction. So that's an item that we will have to bring forth as well. But I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Questions of Ryan, Council?
Ryan, if the plan development doesn't ask for anything outside of the UDO, what's the benefit of a plan development? I'm just curious, why do it if it's not really changing anything?
That's a good point. I think that basically what you have here is it gives them the flexibility to go either way on the left side. It gives them the ability to reduce those standards. Why they didn't reduce them beyond many, I don't know. So.
Just curious. Curious minds want to know.
I think from a city council perspective, and I think also maybe from the resident standpoint, is everything on this left-hand side is identified as single-family and multifamily versus commercial and multifamily in that area, or vice versa. So.
Just clarifying. Got it. Thank you.
This could be a mixture of townhomes and single-family homes.
Or it could be all townhouses, or it could be all single-family. You know, we know that the market swings, so if they want to pivot and go towards townhouses, they have that ability to do that. They have the ability to do that with the base district as well, but you know, that preserves this as well.
So apartments would not be allowed?
With the multifamily, yes, they could.
But they haven't proposed apartments.
They would need to specify that the area in the Burgundy area would not be allowed to have apartments if that's something that they would like to eliminate, if that's a concern. And the PD allows them to do that. It allows them to kind of adjust their proposal. But once it gets adopted, the only way that it can be modified is to go back through the process unless it's a minor amendment.
Is that a possibility?
Is that, yes.
No. On the apartments?
Is that a condition that the developer would consider reasonable?
Yes, we have no intention of building any apartments.
Because I think it ease a lot of people's minds about that part of it. I mean, I know townhomes are still, higher density than single family, but I think the biggest concern, I know that's what the planning board had, was having a huge apartment complex go there. That was one of the biggest things. And thank you for answering a lot of these questions within a week. I mean, that's to get all this stuff revised and taken care of.
Mayor, could I just add, one of the things when you look at affordable housing and some of the comments that you hear in the state about, with the price of housing and construction, single-family homes are more expensive per square foot. So if you're trying to meet certain market, and you're trying to get some more affordability, then that kind of drives you towards things like townhomes and that. So, I mean, we can't control that, but if we allow the possibility of that, and a developer wants to target some of the, more affordable housing market, then they can build something that the price range is going to be a little more attainable.
I think that's a condition I think I would like to see on this, moving it forward. I have no other beef with it, but I think a condition that apartments are excluded from the multifamily would be appropriate here, given particularly that the developer is amenable to it.
What do we have to do that?
Included in the motion.
If they're in agreement to modify the terms and conditions in the master plan, that your motion would include that revision to the PDR and the master plan and the terms and conditions.
doable, huh? All right. Any other questions of Ryan? Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, so at this time, we'll recess the regular meeting, open up the public hearing on this matter. Any hands to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Council, you're being asked to consider the rezoning request.
Mayor, I move that we approve the rezoning request on the condition of the builders not including apartments.
I'll second.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to number 10 for tonight, and this will, if I never get back to it again without doing that.
Keeper.
All right, we have the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, CAPER, for mid-year performance.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. How are you doing? I am Pamela Trafton, Senior Neighborhood Improvement Services Coordinator, and I come before you this evening to do our mid-year performance for our fiscal year 25 Annual Action Report. So for an introduction and explanation, the CAPER stands for the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, which allows us to tell what we've done for our current fiscal year. And so what you will see tonight is an update on where we have accomplished within our current annual action plan. As a reminder, our CAPER is based off of our Community Development Block Grant Funds, which is federally funded through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And when we utilize our CDBG funds, it must meet one of three goals: to ensure that we're benefiting low and moderate income persons or a specific area, that we are doing slum and blight removal, or we're addressing an urgent need, such as in the past COVID-19, where we received funds specifically for that disaster. So before you have our goals that we identified within our annual action plan for fiscal year 25 through 26. And this is based off of the feedback that we receive from the community when we do our community input sessions and our public hearings such as tonight. So with our first goal, clearance and demolition, we have a goal of 10 structures demolished. At the time of presentation, one was complete, but I'm happy to say that we have completed our second one as of today. So we have 2 complete. Our nonprofit funding, this is partnership that we've had with Onslow Community Outreach, Onslow Victim Center, and for Williams Outreach to assist with our homeless population and with those that are facing disasters of rapid rehousing or not being able to take care of their rental assistance. We've already assisted 266 persons with the nonprofits that we are partnered with currently. Our residential rehab, we are looking to assist 4 households. There's been an update since our last presentation. We actually have 2 homes that are currently in process of our residential rehab with 1 pending. And this is opportunities for our elderly to take advantage of being able to receive assistance with their residential rehabs within the city limits. Our down payment assistance, being able to assist those future homeowners being able to purchase homes and realizing that there's gap financing that's needed between the price of the homes and how much they are being approved for. We've already assisted 1 family this year being able to become a homeowner with our down payment assistance program. And we are looking forward to assist a few more with the future changes that we've had with our program. With acquisition, it's an opportunity for us to be able to go in and acquire properties to be able to bring affordable housing to our low moderate income families. We have a goal of 4 homes and we've acquired 2 with 1 more on the horizon. Our multifamily development, this is a partnership that we've had with East Carolina Community Development and with Carolina Statewide, that they have a goal of 84 units to construct. East Carolina is currently in the process now of 12 of those units, and we will be having contracts soon for the 72 units. And with economic development, this is our newest partnership. We've partnered with Genesis Block. Genesis Block's goal is to assist us with future small business owners. So from our small business owners that are going from concept of I would like to be a business owner to actual implementation in business owners. It's also an opportunity for those that are current business owners of micro enterprises, which means that you are a business of 1 to 5 employees. With the Genesis Block, they have a cohort called Jumpstart Academy, where they are actually working with the business owners one-on-one, and it's at no cost to them to be able to attend. They would just have to go through the sign-up process, and again, we're making sure that we are working with our low moderate income business owners. So for those that may not realize that they are low moderate income, if they have an idea of I would like to have a business, or they have been a mobile unit and they're looking to eventually become into brick and mortar, this is an opportunity that we are working with our business owners currently.
Pam, isn't there the Jumpstart event in the beginning of March?
Yeah, we do have one, and we've actually have 6 that's currently in their first cohort. And the demo day is March 5th. And so we'll get that flyer to you if you do not have it already.
How many started out? I mean, you have 6 now, but how many started?
That was the first class.
That was, so all 6 stayed with the program until this point?
And they're currently still in, yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Now, what is the time frame from start to finish? What is Genesis Block giving them as far as from concept to moving forth in their business? What window? Is it a 6-month window? How long would that one cohort have to go throughout the entire process?
I'll have to get their exact time frame for you, so that way, for those, as you pass the information along, be able to share along. Because it is a commitment for them to be able to go forth and start from being able, the demo day is to allow those that are in attendance to be able to say exactly what their business is and an opportunity for them to speak for.
They're giving a pitch then?
Yes. Oops. So as we talk about affordable housing, I want to highlight our home that we currently have constructed at 408 Ann Street. This home is available for our next homeowner. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath at $208,650. And this home was made available again through our community development block grant funding. And to be able to qualify for this home, they must attend our home ownership program, attending the classes with our money management, and also doing one-on-one counseling sessions within our department. Those are the requirements specifically for those that are going through the home buying process. And just to highlight our schedule, we have our upcoming classes for our home buyer courses. They're $25 per person, and you will receive a certificate as we are certified housing counseling agency. And just to put in perspective, as our housing counseling agency, the city of Jacksonville is the only one that's within Onslow County. Your closest ones are within Wilmington or within Greenville. So for anyone that is looking to become a homeowner that must go through housing counseling services, they're coming through the doors of City of Jacksonville to receive those services.
Do you allow for additional dates where there may be a private group that would want that class?
Yes, ma'am. We can schedule one-on-one, and I would just need to schedule accordingly with the other presenters. Our money management class, we have one scheduled for this Saturday. This is a free class as of now, and I put that caveat there. So it is from 9 to 1, and this is the second class that's required for those that are either one, wanting to go through the home buying process, or just wanting to go through and have their financial counseling taking place and learning more about money management. I always challenge anyone to go through our money management class, especially when they say, oh, I don't need it, pass that on to somebody else. And I say, nope, come to the class. And as soon as they come to the class, they'll say, wow, I did not know that. So I offer this class to everyone to come. And as I said, it is free as of now. All right. And an opportunity to help our program, help our opportunity to receive more contractors, because that was an opportunity for us when we were looking to have residential rehab projects done or for home ownership programs. We offered for the first time a Working with the City of Jacksonville workshop. This was an opportunity that contractors, developers, and their administrators could come and hear one-on-one from the Departments of Neighborhood Improvement Services, Permit Planning, Finance, and Engineering. It was an opportunity for them to be able to speak directly and hear directly from the professionals that would take their project from bid to certificate of occupancy. It was well attended with almost 40 in attendance. And the buzz was, when is the next one? So we are very excited to be able to offer that this year, and we're looking forward to having one within the summer. Our annual nonprofit board development conference, we just hosted it this past week, the beginning of this month. And this was an annual conference that we host for our board developments. And this provides an opportunity for our nonprofits to be able to receive the training that's required of them if they do not receive it on their own. The required training allows them to be able to submit their grant applications when it is time for them to submit for the upcoming funding cycle. And we had over 80 in attendance over the 3 days.
Ms. Trafton?
Yes, ma'am.
The requirement for this, do they have to do it every year?
If they do not do their training on their own. So the requirement within our application is at least 51% of their board has to have received formal training. So if the nonprofit is not scheduling training on their own, then this is our last chance before the application is due for you to come in and receive training.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, as a plug, as a follow-up within our current mid-year plan, is that we are in our current cycle for our fiscal year 26-27 action plan. And so I place this QR code on the screen as the deadline is Friday for any feedback to receive on our current. So just as you saw where our goals were in our current mid-year, those goals can change based off of the survey and the feedback that we receive off of this cycle. So if there is anything of importance, and I say that to the viewing audience as well, that is of importance to you, then definitely take the survey, because we will then turn around and compile all the information and put the action plan together, and we'll be back before you for the approval to submit that to HUD.
So you need a public hearing for now.
Yes.
All right, so this time we'll recess the regular meeting and open the public hearing on this matter. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to the plan at this point? Now, I know you have the QR code here for any comments by February 20th. Not too far off. Yes, sir.
I'm wondering, with the areas that we have in the city of Jacksonville, like in the New River area, there's many condemned properties that have been boarded up and all that. Is there a way that this group can partner with, like, the local college building classes and, tear down some of those that are non-usable anymore?
Still belongs to somebody. It's still private property. So that kind of got us in kind of a bind to be able to do anything.
Can the city require that those owners do something with the properties because they're an eyesore to the city. I mean, it happens all over the country, so.
Madam Attorney, I don't think I can really discuss this with him, kind of, since there's ongoing litigation.
I mean, it's.
Yes, sir. Those are very valid questions, and there are resources online that can answer some of those questions for you. The School of Government out of North Carolina, the University of North Carolina, has a lot of really good publications about what we can and can't do for affordable housing. But of course, we are limited because a lot of these properties are owned by private parties.
Right.
So at this point, we can't really answer specifically, but I would refer you to their website for some really good resources.
Okay, I was, there's avenues to take care of.
Sorry, we can't discuss it any further, but,
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. Good
Yes, sir.
ideas.
Mr. Willingham.
There was a program, and I don't know if you all still do it, in community development where they partnered with the city to build affordable housing. I worked on 2 of them myself. I took the class out at Coastal, and we built 2 houses as part of the affordable housing program. I don't know if you all still do that. But.
We do not currently, but I do have our director, Tracy Jackson, who may have been here during that time to give additional information.
Councilman Willingham, you are absolutely correct. We partner with Coastal and with Southwest High School and doing pre-construction, and we would have those units moved to the site, and then the students would come and finish the house. So we have several structures within the city for first-time homeownership located on Collins Street and in our South Shore area. But you're absolutely right.
Thank you, Tracy.
It was the CREATE program, to be specific.
All right, well, I have the public hearing open. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this plan? Seeing no one, I don't see anyone. I'll close the public hearing, and council, you've been asked to receive this update input.
Mayor, may I make a comment? I certainly appreciate community development's efforts, not only for affordable housing, which is really important, but the other things they're doing as far as reentry and domestic child abuse, all those things that plague our community, they've been working on for a long time. So I appreciate your efforts in partnering with nonprofits to make our community a better place to live.
Need a motion to accept, sir?
Yes, I do.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Let's go real quickly to reports. I'll start with you, Councilmember Smith.
I'm going to honor the audience and reserve that until our next meeting.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to recognize Laura Reddy. She received the 2025 Higher Vets Medallion Award by the Department of Labor. You know, in our community, it's so important that we support our military, and that's just an example of how we support our military, or how people in our community support our military. So I'd like to recognize her for that. The other thing is that Councilwoman Smith and I were at a meeting at one place and talked about the challenges for childcare, which impacts economic development and things like that. So if you haven't gone to any of those meetings, I would encourage you to do that, because childcare is so important. You know, the first 2,000 days of a child's life are the most important. They develop their character. So investing in child care in our community is extremely important.
Dr. Washington?
Just quickly, Mayor, I had the opportunity to represent the city of Jacksonville at our recent African-American read-in that was held at Jack Amiet Recreation Center, as well as Women in STEM program at Sturgeon City.
Mr. Willingham?
No report.
I'll follow suit, no report.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Very brief.
Very brief.
I just want to say congratulations to Councilwoman Washington for her reappointment as Chair of the National League of Cities Advisory Council Board. And I believe this has been mentioned once before, but I wasn't here to celebrate it, so I'm going to repeat it. Congratulations to Mr. Ron Massey for being selected as Assistant Municipal Manager of the Year.
Yes.
Otherwise, no reports, sir.
Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Can't guarantee brevity. Want to start out with a one city moment. Great job by Pamela Trafton, who has left the building. That's a great report, especially for our one city, because the efforts, as Mr. Nero said, the efforts of our neighborhood improvement services team do reach outside of just what a lot of people think, and they go a lot deeper within our community. So awesome start for our recognitions. We did have, as been previously mentioned by multiple people, our African American read-in, and that happened on February 8th at Jack Amiette. So once again, kudos to our recreation team for bringing together the community for an event, but more importantly, kudos to the people that showed up and that were present and that were active. If no better screen exists, this is the one we should resonate with for the rest of the night, and I would say maybe for a long time. Kids being active, having a voice, and being out in public, showing up, and bringing their voice with them. That's the value of everybody that was here at this meeting tonight. This is encouraged at a young age, and it should continue to be encouraged because everybody seems happy. And if nothing else, happiness goes a long way in curing a lot of the things that ail us. You'll see here award-winning poet Keith Soul from the Fayetteville Detour team, multiple awards nationally, and we had Fayetteville's own right here in Jacksonville, going through some of his poems and quotes. And then we also had the Sandy Run Missionary Baptist Church and the Coastal Carolina Volunteer Choir bringing us a joyful sound to the members that are present. When we come together in opportunities to share how we feel, then there's a lot of value there. And when we can make a joyful noise out of that, then to me, it gives a lot more value. So to see the group come together again this year is fantastic. Then right here, you're going to recognize part of the Recreation Department put on a program that told the story of Jackie Robinson. So that's why you're seeing the Dodgers 42. It's not just something that people do every once in a while. It's something that we do every year, not just through the Major League Baseball, but we do this in communities around the globe. So it's Jackie Robinson's story is not just a story that's in the United States. It's around the world. And there's a lot of civic pride there. And then the gentleman there wearing the Patriots hat, we want to give him credit too, because go Patriots, they played in the Super Bowl. They did not score as many points as the other team, but it's great. It's next to you, Dr. Washington, so just want to point that out. So for this event, the students also received their certificates. The certificates sometimes don't mean a lot to some of us, but they mean a lot to the people that show up, and for our kids when they are honored for being present, for having a voice and being a part of the program that's bigger than themselves. I believe that resonates with them for the rest of their lives. It doesn't matter if they're in a sport, it doesn't matter if they're reciting spoken word, if they're singing, if they're in the church choir, or if they're part of Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. When they're there together as a group, it resonates for our community. So once again, for the Parks Department and all the partners that helped to put on this event, which is much bigger than just the Parks Department, kudos to our community and kudos to our kids and everyone that were present. This next one, Mayor, this last one I have, but it's a little more interesting. We created the Celebrate and Skate at Kerr Street Recreation Center. So we took the volleyball courts that were resurfaced, or we put the tennis courts that were resurfaced in the area that our pickleballers use, and we turned it into an ice skating rink. So as some have said, if you can't get people to use park space, it's not because the people don't want to use it, it's because you didn't give them enough opportunity. We have brought a skating rink to Kerr Street, and we have happy people, we have bruised people, and we have families and kids that are having a good time. And it's safely having a good time. So once again, for Parks and Rec and the community partners that make these things happen, fantastic. And then here's some of our partners here. You're going to see Gourmet Funnel Cakes. You're going to see Lavender Ring Cafe. They were there providing sweet treats. So we have an opportunity for a public engagement effort. Our food trucks show up and support these efforts. It is community built and it was community enjoyed. Excellent job by everybody to be present. And again, happy faces are valuable. The last thing I did tell you a lie, Mayor, I had one more thing. Earlier this afternoon, we were able to welcome the River of Life Church to present back to the recreation team their annual donation. And I say it's an annual donation, not because it's something that we should count on, but it's because something that's part of their mission, and they deliver this to the city every year. And every year that I've been here, they've been here in the years before, they show up to be present and to say, this is what we do as part of our church fellowship and ministry. And Mr. Milton showed up. He's the director of the children's ministry. They brought a team. The mayor was able to recognize them and to receive those funds. These funds will be utilized within our community to make an impact on the youth of Jacksonville. So kudos to them as a strong partner for showing up every year and for showing up throughout 365 days a year to serve their ministry. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Josh. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss land acquisition and some information about a ongoing litigation.
So moved.
Second. I'm sorry, Lorna, did you have anything?
No, sir, thank you.
All right. Motion to go into closed session, you made it. Who seconded it? All right. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.